I know that everyone in this hall feels like I do, that the two of you, for your individual work, yes, and even more so for your work as a team, are most deserving of the Eisendrath Bearer of Light Award. Let me read the, because I can't lift it. Well, I guess I can.
We can do it.
You can do that. If I am, you have all heard this many times. If I am not for myself, who is for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Let me introduce you to speak. You can put it down. Congratulations. Who's going to go first?
Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a great privilege and an honor to be here. And I am conscious that you and your movement were there before it was easy and before it was popular. It is not so many years ago when gay and lesbian citizens were not only discriminated against in terms of marriage, they were barred from employment opportunities, their very safety and their very lives were threatened and sometimes lost. I was already eligible to vote in this country when Dwight David Eisenhower issued an executive order that forbid the employment by any place in the federal government of a gay or lesbian citizen. You could not be a clerk typist, you could not be a postman if you were gay or lesbian. That's how deep the discrimination ran. Today, we've made enormous progress, thanks to you and so many other people. And we are close to closing the one area in which, in our country, our own government still discriminates against its citizens. 200 years ago, the words of the Declaration of Independence and of our Constitution about equality and equal opportunities really applied only to a very narrow group of people, essentially white male property owners. They were the we of we the people, and everybody else was they. Over the course of the last more than 200 years, we have constantly expanded the circle of who is the we of we the people. We have eliminated governmental discrimination based on race, on gender, on ethnicity, on religion. There's only one area remaining, and that is the current discrimination against our gay and lesbian brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, uncles and aunts, teachers, lawyers, doctors, our community. There are many areas where we have a great deal more to do in terms of eliminating the last vestiges of social discrimination in race and gender and all these areas. But there's only one where the government actually promotes, not fights, discrimination. It has been an enormous privilege for Ted and myself to be in this battle, and it has been easy to be in this battle at this time. Each of us, I know, is conscious of the fact that we are able to accomplish what we can today because of the enormous sacrifices at great personal cost that other people have made before us. We're like every 4 years you have the Olympics, and you have the people that bear the torch from Greece to wherever the Olympics are going to be. And you've got these people running through deserts and across jungles and all sorts of things. And then some people get the torch just before you get into the stadium, and they run in there with a torch, and all the television cameras are on them. Well, that's Ted and me. We don't forget the fact that we got here because an awful lot of people have carried that torch for an awful long period of time. And so we both, I know, accept this award with great personal pride and pleasure. You can't get this award from an organization like this without feeling probably prouder than we have a right to feel. But we also accept it for the Matthew Shepherds and everybody else who suffered and fought and stood up, not in a courtroom where you're safe, but on the streets where you're not. So for them, we all deserve to thank them for what they did and to carry on that work until it is really finished. Thank you very much.
I was thinking, David, as you were saying those things about the torch and coming into the stadium, we'd better not drop the torch. That's right. I also want to express my appreciation to this wonderful organization and to all of you who are members of this organization. We can't begin to express our appreciation, how much it means to us to be honored by you with respect to what we've been doing on behalf of gay and lesbian citizens in the United States. It's not only, as David said, a tribute to the work that we have been doing, but what you have done and what you are doing carries your voices and your membership and your special status in the United States to the elimination of this important vestige of discrimination, which is engraved into our charters throughout the United States. Proposition 8 is just one example of where the citizens of California have put in their Constitution a provision which says that certain of their citizens in California are different and unequal and unentitled to the same rights and privileges of other citizens in California. The trial in the Proposition 8 case, and we do hope someday there is a video of the trial, that someday that video will be available to the American people. We've been fighting to have you see it. Our opponents are vigorously fighting against the release of that video of the trial. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that they do not want you to see and the American public to see what went on in that courtroom? Trials are public events. What happens in a public courtroom belongs to the public. We want you to see the plaintiffs in that case testify about what it is like to be a gay or a lesbian, what it is like to live in a place where discrimination is supported by the Constitution of your state, what it is like to be denied the right to marry, which the Supreme Court has said 14 times is a fundamental right in our country, a right to privacy, a right to association, a right to identity, and a right to spirituality. What it is like to be a citizen in California, to maybe work for the state of California, to pay taxes in the state of California, and to have your government tell you in the Constitution that you are less than equal, that the person that you love can't be a part of your life in the same way that other married people get to experience. Marriage is a building block in society. It is a foundation of our neighborhoods. It's a foundation of our economy. It's a foundation of our rights. It's one of the most fundamental rights that we have. Slaves were denied the right to get married until the Emancipation Proclamation. And they rushed to get married because it was freedom and it was liberty, and they were finally able to form families that were recognized by their government and their fellow citizens. Those are among the things that are being denied to our gay and lesbian brothers and sisters in California and throughout the United States. That's what we are fighting for, and thank you for fighting for that with us. You put your organization and your membership in this organization behind it, and it means more than I can begin to tell you. I also have to say while I'm up here, what a great pleasure it is for David and for me to work with David in connection with this adventure, this effort to achieve equality, to eliminate this vestige of discrimination. You heard in the introduction that David and I once were on the opposite sides of that other case. David didn't say this, but he's been telling people that when people ask us how it's going to come out in the Supreme Court, that he's going to guarantee the 4 votes. The 4 votes that he was able to come up with in that case. If I deliver the 5 votes, so that it will be a unanimous decision of the Supreme Court of the United States, like it was in Brown versus Board of Education. And a unanimous decision like it was in 1967 when the United States Supreme Court struck down Virginia's law prohibiting and making it a felony for a person to marry someone of a different race. Unanimous. I actually think, David, it's going to be easier for you to get those 4 votes than me to get the other 5. But we're going to do it. And to work together the way David and I have worked together sends a signal to the American people that people can be Republicans or Democrats, they can be opposite sides of issues, but they can come together for human rights and human decency. That is exactly what you are all about and what you have been fighting for. And we're so thrilled to be a part of that. The other thing that it allows us to do, because we know that we need to win this battle, not just in the courts, but in the realm of public opinion. And so we'll do everything we possibly can, and you must do everything you possibly can to change your neighbor's point of view, or the point of view of other people who haven't thought about this issue. Because what David and I have found, people think it's a bit of a novelty for the two of us to be together. It's not the novelty that they think. We enjoy working together. We really believe in this, and we're fighting hard for it. But people say, well, how can you come together for this? And that gives us an opportunity to answer their questions about why this is a liberal value, it's a conservative value, it's an American value, it's a decency value. And you must understand what we're doing to people when we hurt them, and we're doing nothing for anybody else. We're not doing anything for heterosexual marriage to deny equality to our gay and lesbian brothers and sisters. So help us with this. And I will conclude by saying that when that Supreme Court decision comes, and we hope it'll be a unanimous Supreme Court decision, because like that Loving versus Virginia case in 1967, we can look back on that decision as Americans, and we can say, was it really true in the United States that you could go to jail for marrying a person of a different race? That couldn't be true. Our sons and daughters today think that's crazy. It couldn't have been that way in America. 20 years from now or 40 years from now, that's the way the American people are going to see this form of discrimination, and you're going to help us get there. Thank you.